Hello everyone, welcome back. This is section 2 of your course Mastering Ansible by Avionics. My name is Ahmed, and in this section we are going to use Ansible with Vagrant for fast provisioning, or for instant provisioning as it is sometimes called. So let's get started. So in the last section we introduced Vagrant as a provisioning platform that works on top of a virtualization platform like VirtualBox in our example. And you saw how easy it was to fire up multiple machines at the same time, change the network configuration, and so on, without having to go into time-consuming details of VirtualBox or VMware. Just by making some changes to the Vagrant file, reloading the machines, all the changes are reflected immediately to the machines that you control. Additionally, and as a provisioning platform of its own, Vagrant can be integrated with configuration management tools like Chef, Puppet, Salt, and of course, Ansible. Let's have a look at how we can integrate Vagrant in order to provision a machine and use Ansible to install necessary software on this machine as part of its configuration. So let's have a look at our example system, okay, and let's exit from our previous lab that we used in the last section. Let's clear the screen and let's create a new machine for our example here. Let's go to Vagrant file, and as we have learned in the previous section, we can create more than one machine in the same directory using one Vagrant file, and this can save you a lot of time and effort. So what we're going to do is that we are going to clone or copy those 4 lines. We don't need to have a private network for this machine, just we need to change its name. Let's call it web server. Okay, so it's web server as the variable, and here it's going to be called web server and web server. Okay, so now we have a new machine that's going to be created when the Vagrant up is used. But now let's add something new to this configuration stanza. Web server dot vm dot provision, and this part of the Vagrant file allows you to choose among multiple provisioning platforms or multiple provisioning tools, as we said, Chef, Puppet, Ansible, Salt, and other configuration management tools. We are going to use Ansible and do Ansible playbook. I'm going to discuss what a playbook is in a moment. It's going to be called myplaybook.yml for YAML. And we are going to end this stanza. Okay, this is the new part that I've added to this stanza. This is the provisioning part. I've used Ansible as my provisioning platform, and I've just instructed Ansible inside the Vagrant file to use a playbook that is called myplaybook.yml. Now, let's exit this file and let's discuss what a playbook is. A playbook is a file written in YAML, and YAML is the language that is used by, not the language, it is the format that is used by Ansible to store the instructions that it is going to follow when configuring servers. The file is written in the YAML format. So if we want to understand how the file works, we will have to understand what YAML format is. YAML stands for YAML Ain't Markup Language. It's just written like this, YAML Ain't Markup Language. Yes, it is one of those recursive acronyms, just like PHP, Hypertext Preprocessor, or GNU, not Unix, and so on and so forth. Some open source or a lot of open source terms are constructed that way. It's just the first letter of the acronym is the acronym itself, so it's recursive. Anyway, it's an international format that is used for data serialization, and you can think of it as the counterpart of JSON. Some people claim that YAML is easier than JSON. It's up to you. I'm going to show you a document written in YAML, and I'm going to show you how this document can be written in JSON, and you will see the difference, and you can decide which of them is better or is easier. However, in all cases, Ansible uses YAML as its format of choice. So let's see an example YAML document, and for this I'm going to use TextMate to give you a better view. Okay, so here I am in the Ansible machines, and let's create a new file that is called myplaybook.yml, which is the YAML file. Okay, so a YAML file can optionally start with triple dashes like this, and it can optionally end with triple dots like this. Between those I can start writing the document. A YAML document consists of key value pairs. Let's say, for example, I have name, and this is the key. I want to give a value for this key, so I'm going to place a column like this, and a space, and then I can write whatever name I want. Let's say Ahmed, for example. I can give a job. This is another key, Linux engineer, for example. Okay, and I can also add a list or an array or a dictionary or a hash, whatever term you wish to call it, just do, because I know this is a source of confusion for many people, because they don't understand the difference between YAML and JSON, and they don't understand the concept of dictionaries. So if you want to call them arrays like they are called in JSON, it's okay. They are called dictionaries in YAML, but both of them refer to the same concept. I can have here, like for example, skills, and I want to mention multiple skills for this person or for this record. So I am going to add a colon, and this time I'm not going to add a value. I'm going to add multiple values. So to do this, I'm going to have a new line, start a new line with a dash, and I can add either name value pairs or just values. So I can say C#, Python, PHP, for example. Okay, so I can also add a key value pair of its own, like for example, scripts. I can add bash, for example. Or I can further nest this list like this, scripts. I can add bash, corn, zsh, for example. So this is basically how a YAML document is formatted. And you can use quotes if you have to enter invalid characters, for example, not invalid. If you want to enter special characters, like for example the sh, this is the best, okay? And let's say that I want this to be inside, let's say that I want to add this inside the value. I want to add a colon inside the value. So this won't work because a colon is a special character in YAML, so I'll have to quote it with double quotes like this. This way I can ensure that YAML will not complain of this colon being placed inside the file. So now that you know what a YAML format is, we are ready to start writing the myplaybook.yml. We're gonna replace the text in this file with the instructions that Ansible is going to use to configure the web server machine that we have just defined in the Vagrant file. That will be the starting topic of next lecture, so see you next.